that night I got arrested. Luckily, I had filmed the latter part of the incident. She dropped all charges against me because I kicked her in the leg. I didn't press any charges against her. Then the police tried to press charges against me because she was apparently the scared domestic abuse victim.
Right. Okay.
But luckily, I'd filmed it, and they said that's what's got you off. It proved you weren't being aggressive. If it wasn't for that police footage, I'd have probably been charged.
There you go, guys. If you're in a relationship which is volatile, make sure you're recording everything because it can just get you on with.
So I was banished from living in my house instantly with this 2-week domestic violence protection order on me. Still had to I was released from the police cells on Saturday night, and I was taken to my mum's property where I was going to reside for the next couple of weeks. I was told by the police to message my children with a list of belongings that I required for the next couple of weeks. Clothes, money, wallet, etc. Which I did. While I mother's house, and then half an hour later my son's ringing me up, which I answered, and it was my wife still at the time, crying her eyes out. I love you, what are we going to do, how are we going to get through this?
Right.
And my exact response was, I love you too, but I can't be speaking to you because I could be arrested. Now the phone went down. I was then met the police at the house that night at 8 o'clock, and I was told not to get out of the car until the police arrived. So I sat outside, my mum took me. I sat outside in the car waiting for the police to arrive. The female officer she went in the house. She was in the property for 20 minutes, and she came back out and she said she wants you back in the house, but you can't go back in because of this domestic violence protection order. I thought, that's fine. I thought, 2 weeks, I can write this out for 2 weeks. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe we could reconcile our relationship and counselling, etc., whatever.
Yep.
During that period of the next 2 weeks, I was able to communicate with my children. So I'd make regular arrangements with them to meet them away from the property because it was a 200-metre distance I had to be away from my own house.
Yeah.
And we go for walks. I live in Llangollen, beautiful historic town. There's a castle there. We go for walks to the castle. We go and play football. And during that time, my youngest son kept saying to me, Mum says she misses you. Mum says she loves you. Mum says she, misses you constantly was. So stupidly, me being stupid, was sending my 10-year-old son message saying, tell your mum I love her. Tell your mum I can't wait to come home. Tell your mum I miss her. A week later, there's a knock on my mum's door, 11 o'clock at night, a Sunday night. Police. I was rearrested for the breach of a domestic violence protection order.
No.
She'd screenshotted these messages I'd sent to my son, and it's classed as indirect contact.
Really?
She'd sent them to the police.
No way.
Rearrested for the breach of a domestic violence protection order.
And the content of these messages were, tell your mum that, you still love her.
Tell your mum I love her. Exactly that. Tell your mum I love her. Tell your mum I'm thinking about her. Tell your mum I miss her. Just...
Forgive my ignorance, but why is that considered aggression then? Why is that considered...
That's not considered aggression, but the terms of the domestic violence protection order were I wasn't allowed to go with 200 metres of my own property.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to contact her directly or indirectly.
Right. Okay. So it didn't really matter what was said, it was just there was indirect communication. Okay.
But the fact my son kept saying to me, Mum said she misses you, Mum said she loves you, kind of said to me that I was...
Well, it goes against all natural reasoning, isn't it? Because if you're been a family for the amount of time that you had, those sort of interactions were just second nature.
Yeah. So I rang my stepson up, and he came and picked me up. He took me to my mother's house, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Thursday afternoon, I remember well. 4 o'clock. And as I arrived there, a solicitor's letter arrived. And on that solicitor's letter, she was applying for a 12-month molestation order against me.
Wow.
And a 12-month occupancy order against me in my house to stop me going near my house for 12 months while the divorce went through.
So for people who don't really know what a non-molestation order is, what is a non-molestation order?
Non-molestation order is basically to stop you going near a certain person. It has conditions on it, distances you can go with them, how you can communicate with them, how you can contact them.
Yeah.
So she was applying for this. This papers were served at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. She had been caught 10 o'clock the next morning. In these papers, there was a 7-page, I use the word storybook. It was 7-page statement. And then it was just lies, allegations. I say, we've been together 23 years and the police have never once been to our house in 23 years. She's never mentioned abuse to her friends. She worked part-time as when she wanted. I pretty much ran the house financially wise. I looked after her. I paid her a salary on my company. She was kind of like a cat woman, but, I encouraged her to work. She had her own business, which she ran part-time because that's what she chose to do it, and enjoyed her hobbies the rest of the time.
What allegations were made against you?
All of our relationship, exact words, I think, were I've been a controlling, volatile, aggressive monster.
Right.
She feared for her and her children's safety should I return to the family home.
Yeah, there was no prior evidence of this. Nothing.
Nothing. Her friends used to say to me, they used to say to her they were jealous of the lifestyle she had. Her and her children were significant risk should I return to the family home. I've never laid a finger on any of them. And there was something else she put in there. But there was no proof of any of this whatsoever other than her statement. So I appeared in court the next day. It was via video link during COVID.
Yeah.
It wasn't telephone, sorry, not video link, telephone. And I asked for a 7-day adjournment while I got time to get a legal team together and a statement in response, which I was granted. Because of the backlog in court with the COVID, this went on for 6 weeks. So I was still in this meantime now. The domestic violence protection order from the police was coming to an end. The court has extended it until my defence hearing when they could either imply something or remove. I get a phone call from a 10-year-old son. So it's a bit late for him. So I answered the phone. Mum wants to speak to you. I said, I can't speak to you, Mum. I'll be arrested. And bear in mind, she set me up before. And I heard her in the background shouting, you won't be arrested, I promise you. We had a 3-hour conversation that night.
Right.
She cried for the whole 3 hours. Bearing in mind, my divorce papers had arrived at my mum's letterbox. She'd filed me, served me with divorce papers.
Yeah.
Cried. Her exact words were, stop the bus, I want to get off. This isn't what I wanted. I've been railroaded down lines I didn't want to go down by friends and solicitors. How are we going to resolve this? How are we going to rectify this?
Did you believe this? Did this come out?
I did. I believed it. Because at the time I had a downlink property which I purchased, knocked down and build a couple of holiday lets in. So the conversation was along the lines of, we'll sell the downlink property, we'll buy another house for you to live in, we can start from the beginning, rebuild our relationship back up. It was all agreed. She said, I'm going to ring the courts tomorrow and I'm going to cancel all the orders that are on me.
What a huge relief, huh?
She was going to relieve me of all these orders. I believed her, she was going to relieve me of all these orders. So the next day, the paperwork come through via solicitors, which basically said that I was to move into the property next door to the matrimonial home, which was our holiday let. I was to live there. She was to live in the matrimonial home. We were to let each other live peacefully. We could communicate however we wanted, text message, phone conversations, whatever. But we could only go around to each other's properties invited only. And I was to pay all the bills on both properties.
Wow.
I've always paid the bills. Wasn't an issue. But the holiday let, which I was now living in, used to have a rental income coming in from guests. Wouldn't have that now. So I was left burdening that expense. But it wasn't an issue because when I built the holiday let a couple of years previous, I'd set a joint account. It was the only joint account we'd ever had between us in 23 years. And I had accumulated rent money in that account. So I thought, it'll pay for itself. Not a problem. I signed the paperwork. It goes off to the court on a Monday afternoon. Now, I didn't hear back from the court on Monday afternoon. And I'd arranged that Monday night to meet my children. As I was dropping them off, she came running up. She'd been looking for us at the park. We'd been at the football rugby pitch. Teens, hug, I've missed you, etc. I went off that night. I went back to my mum's house. I was in bed at my mum's. We were texting back and two. I put my wedding ring back on. Everything was happy. All seemed hunky-dory. And I was a happy man. 10 o'clock came, night, see you tomorrow. Where do I get the key from tomorrow when the injunctions are lifted? And just knock at the door and get the key, because she had the key for the holiday let. We was all happy. 10 o'clock, night, love you, phone down. 10 to 5 in the morning, my phone was pinging. WhatsApp message. And it was long. And it started off basically saying, this isn't us getting back together. This is just us being amicable enough to sort through this shit.
Right.
The paperwork comes from the courts. They've released all the orders. I'm now paying her bills for the next 12 months. Crafty.
Wow.